In this lesson, we'll learn how to animate with keyframe selections and selection objects. Both keyframe selections and selection objects are a great way to filter what will receive keys, what will not. Let's go ahead and first start with keyframe selections. Let's say if we just wanted to animate the pitch axis of our crate. We didn't want anything else to receive animation. To do so, I'll head over to the frame I'd like to change. It's going to be frame 30. From there, underneath the Attributes Manager, Coordinates, we can now choose the pitch axis, right-click, under Animation. We'll want to go to the bottom of the list to add keyframe selection. Let's go ahead and choose that. Now we can see that the parameter has been highlighted. So this right now indicates that only this parameter is going to be able to be recorded on. Everything else will not be able to receive any keyframes. Just to prove this, if we were to turn on auto key, and on the same frame, if we were to try to move the crate, notice it will not receive keys, even though we have it set to receive position keys. Now on the other hand, if we were to go to our pitch axis and modify that value, say bring it to about a value of 70, you can see a keyframe has been recorded, the animation has been updated. And we can add multiple parameters to our keyframe selection. So I'll go to frame 40, and I'll go ahead and add the position X to the keyframe selection, the same way we would add any other parameter to our selection. Simply choose Add Keyframe Selection, and now notice this, the parameter is highlighted. If we were to go to our World Coordinate System, do so from the top toolbar, or simply press the W key. And if we were to now go ahead and just move the crate back a little bit more, on frame 40, notice the path has been updated. The keyframe has been recorded. So that's how we can work with keyframe selections. Now, if we'd like to remove a parameter from that selection, it's just a matter of going to that parameter, right-clicking, and choosing Remove Keyframe Selection. So again, notice we're not able to add any other change except for what is added to that selection. If we'd like to clear that list entirely, it's just a matter of right-clicking on any parameter and choosing Clear Keyframe Selection. Notice everything is highlighted once again, and we can animate normally. So this is how we can work with keyframe selections. Now selection objects, think of them as character sets if you're familiar with that tool. I'll head over to Objects and choose Scene Selection. Okay, notice this little node appears in our scene, but this little node can do a lot for us. So remember that icon right next to Auto Key. If we were to go ahead and head over to that, hold down the left mouse button, now we can go ahead and choose what's going to receive keys, either our active object or selection. If we were to choose this, as of right now, with only one object in our scene being animated, even though it's set to our selection object, we can still add animation to our crate. However, if we were to work with multiple objects, this is where it really comes in hand. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is duplicate the crate by simply going to the Objects Manager and go ahead and hold down Control and drag. And now I'll go ahead and move the path of the duplicated object. You can do so from heading over to Tools and choosing the Animation tool. And I'll just go ahead and slightly offset this path. Okay, great. So from here, we can now go to our selection object. Just go ahead and focus on the Object tab. And now making sure that just our crate is added to that selection object, which it was by default once we went ahead to the selection object with the object selected. Making sure it's added to our selection object. Now, if we were to go to crate 1 and try to animate it, it will not receive keys. And of course, we'd want to make sure that under our object mode and not animation mode. See that? Okay, so notice that crate is going to pop back to the path. No keyframes are going to be recorded at all. However, if we wanted to add a modification to our original crate, you can go to frame 40, you can go ahead and kind of bring this object up, and notice keyframes will be set. If you'd like, you can remove objects from your selection object by simply heading over to the selection, right-clicking and choosing Remove or Remove All.